Hi everyone, bodyweight strength athletes, power lifters, old school lifters alike. Today we are going to learn the handstand push-ups, one of my all-time favorite strength and muscle mass exercise to absolutely transform your physique and strength. This skill is awesome. Let's have a crack at it. That's right. Bodyweight strength athletes, powerlifters, and old school lifters. People have been using the handstand push-ups, not just gymnasts. Paul Anderson as well, great example. Arguably the strongest man in history, not just current, has been doing at a body weight of about 330 pounds handstand push-ups in his backyard to unlock overhead pressing strength, inhuman level of overhead pressing strength. Anyway, it's for everybody. Today we will learn the progressions, so little to no equipment, bodyweight training only, progressions to unlock full range handstand push-up. I think the full range in particular, where you get the stretch at the bottom, transform just the upper body. Marvin Eder used to say, one of the, arguably again, pound per pound, he was a bronze era lifter around the 50s. Pound per pound, one of the strongest men to ever exist, right? He had 9 one-arm chin-ups per arm at a body weight of 190 to 200 pounds. The man was overhead pressing, I believe it was 340 pounds. I think was the first man to bench 500 under 200 body weight pounds. He used to say that the deltoids are the seat of power, and I experienced something similar. When you get strong deltoids using exercises like the freestanding, not just freestanding, full range handstand push-up, wall handstand push-ups of any kind, perfect deltoid exercise, everything else gets better. Bench gets better, weighted dips gets better, overhead presses, they get better, push-ups get better. Planches get better, so we transform into bodyweight skills as well. When the deltoids are strong, it improves all upper body lifts. We will learn the bodyweight progressions, and I will show you rep ranges, sets, what I think that you should be doing from scratch. Let's say you're a beginner, okay? But a lot of people that are heavier as well, 200 pounds plus, will find similar experience, okay? So if you're a beginner but you weigh not a lot, you might find similar experiences, believe it or not, to someone who is very strong but weighs a lot trying to manipulate his body weight in space. This is just a different game, different ballpark. That's why we have weight classes at strength sports, right? People starting bodyweight training, even Pike push-ups, which is the first progression for handstand push-up, can be somewhat challenging, right? How do we do Pike push-ups and not screw them? Straighten the legs. We use slightly wider than shoulder width apart hand placement. So not like your handstands, classic handstand shoulder width, slightly wider, okay? Now when you have that stance, squeeze the elbows in, okay? This locks all of the stabilizers and everything is engaged. Upper back, shoulder stabilizer, great. Now, lean forward. You are always trying to place all of the weight on top of the hands, right? Now your legs are still on the floor, obviously that makes the movement slightly easier, but don't shift all of the weight to the legs. So this is how it should be done. Weight stacked on top of my hands. Make sure that you don't push back to your heels. Now I have not a lot of weight on my hands. This is the Pike push-up. Why I have trouble programming Pike push-ups often is because there's too much room for interpretation. This exercise can be 100 pounds worth of weight, or it can be 50 pounds of weight, 40 pounds of weight, if you shift too much weight backwards. So for beginners, I prefer to get strong using push-ups and dips. So just get very comfortable, very strong. And dips, full range dips, not street lifters dip. Just use the full range of motion, why not? And when you get very comfortable and you can do probably 5 sets of 10 reps and above, you probably have enough strength to do the pike push-ups properly. Okay, so it's about having enough strength to be able to shift enough weight forward. When you do it correctly, your feet should almost float at the bottom of the pike push-up. Look at my feet. Right? Don't take your feet off the floor. That was just a demonstration of how light it should be at the bottom. Now let's move on to the next progression. Elevated pike push-up. So we place our feet on an elevation. This is about knee height. So we will use pike push-ups and then knee height elevated, and then we can get to about stomach height. Okay, we break down the elevation into progressions as well because we need to make as many progressions as possible. Again, someone weighing 200 pounds watching this, the gap between pike push-ups on the floor and chest to wall is huge. Perhaps 100 pounds difference. Now, if you go to the barbell and try to place an additional 100 pounds, that's an impossible task. You have to gradually build towards it. So we are breaking it out to as many steps as possible. You can use floor or parallel bars. That's fine. Same rules as pike push-ups. Get the feet close enough. If flexibility limits you, spread the legs and slightly bend the knees. This will allow you to stack more weight on top of the hands, right? Okay. Like that. Nose to floor and bend. Now, why do I always advocate nose to floor? Because in the handstand variation, where we freestand, you look at what you are trying to balance. So you look between your hands, just like if I were to balance this beam, I will look at it, right? Closing my eyes or looking to the other direction is harder. So we want to keep the eye gaze at what we are trying to balance. Balance makes strength more efficient, right? Second thing is, when you touch nose to floor, you shift more weight forward as opposed to forehead or just my head to the floor. People tend to smash the head between the hands. So if I'm looking at it, shifting more weight forward means more strength, right? Third, and most importantly, when people have to touch with their nose, they will control the eccentric. They don't want to break their nose. They will be very smooth and elegant with the execution. They don't want to drop too fast. Otherwise, they'll break their nose. So that is actual recruitment of motor units under danger. When you feel danger, you recruit more motor units. When you almost break your nose, that's where your deltoids activate fully. Okay? Kidding. Not really, but slightly kidding. When you can do this, you can elevate the box. This is about hip height. And then you can do chest height. Again, break it down into small progressions. Try to work with 3 sets of 1 to 5 reps. Okay? Whenever you can do 3 sets of 5 with the amount of weight shifting forward, technique, control, speed that I demonstrated, 3 sets of 5 are plenty. You can elevate the box, make it harder, intensify the exercise, drop the rep range, and build back up towards 3 sets of 5, right? Great. Once you have stomach, chest height, pike push-ups, you are ready for the wall. Now, you want to be ready for the wall because people don't understand the technique is mostly a matter of strength. So for instance, if your elbows flare out to the side in a handstand push-up, that's because your triceps are too weak, okay? By using the right progression for us, we will be able to squeeze the elbows in to allow triceps to participate in the challenge, right? Otherwise, all of the stress is in the shoulders. Now, Matt Wenning said that they tested bench presses, multiple bench presses above 400 pounds bench. So extremely strong people, they tested their bench press, and to see muscle activation, they saw that the triceps actually become the primary mover. So in a bench press, the stronger you are, chest becomes more of a stabilizer, and you press more with your triceps. The stronger your triceps are, the bigger the burden they take from the task, and the less trouble the shoulders have. Think about it. Most people lifting bench press, overhead press, they have shoulder impingement, shoulder inflammation, either in the posterior delt or supraspinatus or front deltoid, which is basically the proximal bicep tendinopathy, right? Rarely do they have tricep pain from pressing, inflammation, or elbow inflammation, tendinopathy. That's because the triceps probably don't take a big portion of the task. The shoulders take all of the load. They flare the elbows out. Triceps are not as engaged. Shoulders take too much beating from every pressing variation. It is important that you use the right progression, that you can screw your elbows in, engage the triceps as well. If you go to the wall, you're doing chest to wall handstand push-ups now, and you are trying to squeeze the elbows in, and you are unable to, and your elbows come out, even though you try, and you know that the elbows should be tucked in. That's not because you're a bad person or you have bad intentions. It just means that your triceps are too weak. Use the right regression, get strong, build towards 3 sets of 5 with proper technique and tempo as demonstrated. When you move to the wall, you should be ready. Now, if you already moved to the wall, you are a sick person, congratulations. I think that you should start with back to wall, it is slightly easier, and then move on to chest to wall. Back to wall feels easier. Not sure why, doesn't matter. So you are done with the elevation, congratulations, and back to wall will be your first progression. Always move forward and down and press back up. Forward and down, press back up. Okay? Anyone with glasses know my pain. Okay? Because the glasses always wiggle when you're upside down like that. Forward and down. Don't place your head between your hands. Try to form a triangle between the hands and your nose. Okay? To be stacked, almost like at the bottom of a barbell overhead press, right? We are not here. Hands are slightly in front. Fantastic. After you have the back to wall, go do the chest to wall. This is heavier on the anterior deltoid. Get comfortable in back to wall. Boom, go to chest to wall. Stack weight on top. Solid core, point toes, glutes, abs. Two things that make every strength exercise feel more efficient and easier is tighten the grip and tighten the core. This is true for body weight, okay? Squeeze glutes, contract the abs, squeeze the grip. Everything in between will feel easier, more efficient, and more engaged. Okay, this is this gymnast grace that I'm talking about. It's probably about core and stabilizer muscles, and as well as body awareness. being upside down, that is better than maybe the average lifter, okay? Again, don't seek perfection. You'll get it better. I always say, if I can do 5 chest wall handstand push-up, even if it's not perfect form, I will be able to do 1 or 2 perfect form handstand push-ups. So when you build strength, worry about the load, make it heavy, get strong. Nervous system should activate. This is why we lift heavy or why we lift powerfully, explosively. Both engage the central nervous system to the max, to its fullest. Once you got chest to wall, now we can increase the range of motion. So use taller parallel bars to get a full range of motion. Full range of motion is all the way down to the clavicle. Back to wall first. Full range. Bam. You can have both legs straight, actually. This happens usually in the chest to wall. People can't place all their weight on their hands, so they have to see the stomach on the wall and walking. Too much weight on the lower body, not enough weight on the upper body. So if you have to walk the wall, this is an objective limitation that we can set on the technique of the exercise to make it objective. If you are adding reps or weight, but you are starting to break down the technique, that's not getting stronger. You need the practice to be at a stimulatory level. It doesn't have to be maximal. 0 reps in reserve, maximum RP, every set, every session. In bodybuilding, we see that we got it from Hollywood. It has to be, you have to sweat and grunt and blood and tears and okay, strength training, you have to keep a few reps in reserve because you are training significantly heavier. You should be at least using lower rep ranges, more weight, more load, body weight, load. I'm using weight, load, as again, just resistance training. When I say weight, load, I refer to body weight progressions as well. This is load, right? Handstand push-up, this is load on the shoulders. You can go to failure with exercises that are so heavy, compound movements like handstand push-up, the same way that you can go to failure doing alternating curl multiple times a week. Okay? This is not as fatiguing on the body, central nervous system, not a lot of overall muscle mass engaged, predominantly just the biceps, right? Elbow flexors. So you have back to wall full range, boom, go to the chest to wall full range, and this is where I think that V taper, that seat of power that you have from the shoulders, transform your physique. When people can do multiple chest wall handstand push-up, full range stretch all the way to the clavicle, that's where I think it shows in your physique. The V taper, the rounded delts, strong deltoids, just the physique looks different. You arrived all the way to the chest to wall handstand push-up. This is not a handstand tutorial, but I can tell you that this takes about 2 years, and handstands also take about 2 years to unlock. So if you really want it, you can just practice handstands and watch some handstand tutorial. I know I have a lot of handstand tutorials on the Bodyweight Tribe, okay? On the programs, on the membership plans. Check the link in the description. Just go get you whatever you need, hop on a program, make gains. Everything the calisthenic athlete needs is in the description. It comes with meal plan, nutrition guide, it comes with exercise tutorial, all of these functions that you need, obviously the training program itself, to make gains. Intermediates, beginners, advanced, everything is there. Anyway, you can practice handstands, which takes about 2 years too, alongside the handstand push-up on the wall, so you get balanced and strong, and hopefully you can combine it by the time that your handstands are solid enough. Now I recommend having 45 seconds freestanding handstand holds for multiple sets. That's where you should aim for in your handstand practice. If you have 10, 20 seconds, inconsistent freestanding holds, you kick up, you fall, you can't really quite catch it. frequently enough, consistently enough, long enough, you can't practice handstand push-up on it. Okay, you're trying to make a skill exercise a strength platform. Separate it, build the handstand, the freestanding stuff, build the overhead pressing, pushing strength separately, combine them where you're efficient enough with your handstand practice. And then you can knock off some cool, full range, freestanding handstand push-ups. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe only if you love the video. See you next time.